No. All right, we're going to get into it. What's good, everybody? This is Lady Miz.
It's Ray. What's up?
From the Ground Up Productions. And today we are rocking out with a super dope, talented artist by the name of Chynxx Brynxx. What's good? What's going on, y'all? How you doing today?
Just cool and vibing. Roll this up. Need something, I need something in the background going on. Gotta have my, earthly.
Listen,
but I'm just cool and vibe.
Do you? So listen, we wanted to have you on the show today for anyone who don't know you, to promote your music and everything that you're doing. So let's first start off with the basics. Tell the people who you are and where you're from.
For the most part, Chynxx Brynxx from Brooklyn, New York. Brownsville, Brooklyn to be exact. My name is Chynxx Brynxx. Some people, call me Chynxx, Brynxx, everything but what my name is. So for starters, I always like to clarify that. Chynxx, all types of craziness. My name is Chynxx Brynxx, basically named after the, Brynxx truck, like Brynxx truck. So I just took the spelling and changed it up a little bit. But they look at that and just say everything but what it is. But that's what it is, Brynxx, Chynxx Brynxx.
Chynxx Brynxx, all right. And so you're an artist, correct?
Facts.
Okay, so look, I know you. So we're going to cut right to the chase. But for the people who don't, you know what I mean? So I'm asking the questions for the ones who may not know you so they can get to know you. So, You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So, all right, you're an artist. Tell me about what inspired you to get into rapping.
That's a good one. What inspired me? I'm not going to say inspired. I'll just say like it was like part of me. It's like always there. It was like always in front of me.
Okay.
So I think the inspiration more came from when, poverty struck, when things start happening to where, the teasing in school or the, the bummy sneakers and things of that nature, when that kicked in and me, coming to a realization like, hey, unless you go out and make a, change via job or via what you know or what you see all the time, it's not going to change. And music was always in that, right there in front of us to be able to actually delve into, to have that wish to be like, yo, I'm going to get this car. I'm going to get my mama this house. So I think the motivation, the inspiration really came from, the want for more.
The want for more. Okay. So basically you was exposed to it. You know what I mean? And then you just see, what it could bring. Okay. And what you felt that you can get out of making it happen as well. So that's me.
So when you do your music, you talking about more of what it was life like growing up in Brownsville.
Yeah, I'm pretty much that type of artist. I give like real definition. What happened was when I did 10 years in the feds, I didn't have all my recordings. My prior music before being incarcerated was I tell my brother this is like, and I can speak to y'all because y'all know at the end of the day, back in the days, you couldn't make music that you can like speak in your raps to where it's a story. Maybe it's not your story. You ain't do it sometimes, but you were able to give that visual, for another person that actually lived through it. You feel what I'm saying? And you wasn't ridiculed as an artist like, oh, you spitting fake raps or you capping or nothing. You didn't get ridiculed. So what happens is, me learning the new culture or whatever and seeing that, people really don't like the amplifier. Yo, I'm in a purple coupe. Even if you don't have a purple coupe, it sounds dope saying it. People don't take it as that. They take it as, oh, you're lying, you're a capper. So what happens is it forced me to be an introvert in the music area and just really just give my life. So pretty much like you was asking, to sum it up, I give my life story 85% of the time in my music. And then I try to tell a story for another person, even, if it's a lot of people get ridiculed, and because I used to do it. If you don't pop Molly, how you making a song about that? You faking, you capping. until you get, you know, a little older and start to realize like, hey, you know, you're an artist. That's what artists are for, to be able to give, you know, bring a visual for somebody else that don't have that art and that talent to be able to rap it. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I learned that. But for the most part, yeah.
And also, you know, being an artist, you also give that visual for people who've never seen it. You know, when you put it in your music, they got that opportunity to see what you're, you know, that they never, what they haven't seen before.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. You know, I know, especially in hip hop, it can be so critical because, like you said, if someone's talking about something and they didn't do it, then here comes the people like, oh, you know, you ain't really doing this in your music. But at the same time, it's almost like, I forgot the line. I think Jay-Z has said it, but he was saying like, sometimes he just say that shit like you said because it sound dope. Like, people got to understand that this is an art. So just like when you watch a movie, if you see Scarface, you know Al Pacino ain't really that dude. You understand? He's fucking acting. So at the end of the day, like, people got to understand that music is entertainment. So sometimes you might want to talk that shit, and it's a part of entertainment. And listen, the fake ones gotta just recognize that, yo, look, it's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm rapping, but some people really do live that shit. But I'm just saying, like, you know, people get it a little twisted in the industry.
You get some of the people that be talking about all this, you lying and all that, but those are the ones that are doing it themselves. You know, they just mad because somebody is better at telling the story that they can. Yep, you know.
Very much true. Very much true.
You said you was locked up for 10 years, right? So that means you was rapping before you got locked up, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so when did you start? Like, around when? Was you young, like teenager? When did you start rapping?
If I'm not mistaken, I always get it confused, or it's either 13 or 14 on the year, around the year 2000. Around the year 2000, when the millennium, when everybody was in a panic. Oh, the Y2K is coming that year.
You came in on the struggle, but we was stuck.
Yeah, that's when I made my mark. I said, you know what? If the world don't end, this is what I'm be. If the world don't end, I made my mind up. This is what I'm gonna be. But yeah, I say around the year 2000, that's when I really started. And for the most part, and I can give credit to a certain person, and when you were saying inspiration, but I would say more motivation was my homeboy or whatever. I was like 13, 14, and he basically was already rapping or whatever, and I wound up, you know, coming around him and soaking up the game or whatever. And he was an individual that actually gave me my name, Chynxx. My first name, Chynxx. He actually started calling me that because of my eyes used to always get chinky or whatever when I smoke or whatever.
Yeah, I was about to say, was it because of that?
Yeah. And let's get the record straight to it. I'm gonna do this on any interview. I don't care what type of interview. I'm going to always, because people always think for 1 second that I love Chynxx Drugs, always wanted to do music with him after I knew who he was. But I've always had my name. Before he ever came out, before This Is No Shots, no disrespect, RIP to him, but I've never, ever copied or emulated his. I didn't know him to be able to emulate. I had my name before him. Before I was Chynxx Brynxx, I was Chynxx Dawn. That's everywhere, you know, throughout the city. So, you know, for people to want to know, like, hey, is the, you know, to naming itself after, no, I didn't have that name.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know, it's crazy. I didn't even correlate the two until you said it.
Mm-hmm.
You see how you got to break it down?
No, and it's great. And
I forgot about, you know, not for nothing, and no disrespect to him, but I know his music, but because I don't hear him constantly anymore, I didn't even realize
and it's unfair. You know? It's unfair because that's what happens.
That's not for him personally. It's just that his name is not that name I didn't hear no more. So when I hear you, that's just the name I know, you know?
Yeah. And what winds up happening is the next rapper comes along, you know, get murdered, and our thoughts and you know, prayers is on them, and we forget about the next one. The same ways, you know, it was stack drugs. I said stack drugs, stack bundles. It was stack bundles, and after he died, you know, Big L and all, everybody just started going back and forth, and it's just like we move on to the next one. The same, you know, not to get off into a different subject, but You know, when a black person died, we just move on to the next one. When one gets choked out, we move on to the next one and then forget about the other. But, you know, it's crazy. That's what wound up happening because at the end of the day, we get fed up. We get tired of it.
Right.
That's very true. Very true.
But yeah.
And, you know, and that's refreshing coming from somebody who's a rapper and an artist, because most people correlate rappers and artists is all y'all want to do is kill and murder, and you don't think about anything else, you know? And it's good, you know, it's perfect. People need to hear that that's not what it is.
There's no real man in this world that's into murder, that's into drug selling, that's into anything that's negative, that knows that life, that's really into that shit and want to actually, if even, you know, I profess it in my rhymes, but I have situations in my real life where I change around futures. I stop people from committing suicide. You have to have some type of equilibrium. Without the balance, you know, it's like people will ridicule me and criticize me for, you know, still glorifying the trap. But at the end of the day, it's not glorifying it. It's telling a story. I'm a music artist. At the end of the day, I have to tell my story. I have to let people know it's bad when you can go and glorify it and not let the youngins know, like, hey, you can glorify it, but you got to be tough enough to take the repercussions. And that's the problem. Nobody shows the repercussions. And the ones that do actually take time to show repercussions, they do it in a term that the younger crowd don't want to hear it. It's so tedious and boring and repetitive. It's the same old, yo, y'all out here bugging, doing this stupid shit, and they don't want to hear it. They can't take it from y'all like that, because it's like, y'all got to remember, we got most of the stuff from y'all. Our ways, the way we talk, the way we walk, most of the stuff is y'all, and they blame the younger era. In all actuality, y'all got to take some of that slack. The older generation got to take some of that slack.
You ain't
because
lying.
At the end of the day, y'all left them out there. Y'all left them out there to go and do what they wanted to do. If they had leaders and followers and somebody to look up to, and not calling themselves an OG or CEO, you see what I'm saying? It's like what we was talking about the other when what happens, my brother told me, he says, what happens is when they got the roles to change. You know, we already know about the part when the father leaves the house. We know about that. But they also changed the roles in music. You know why? Because at the end of the day, when a young black person that's 15 years old, or the age of Bow Wow, when, you know, and is in that game for so long, and they are the ones, they're the breadwinners. They're the ones that's taking care of their moms and their pops and buying the houses and cars. So what ends up happening? The roles reverse. You can't talk to him how you would have talked to him before if you was the one, you know, clothing and feeding him. So that's why you see so much rebellion and so much craziness going on, because it's more black. You know, I was saying the plus and the negative. Yes, we have a lot more young black CEOs than we ever had in this world, ever. But like my brother taught me, if the role switches, and that causes a big problem within the family, function in the family, because now the breadwinners is the kids, and the kids got to say so. The kids is dictating where we moving and where we going and what we do. You see what I'm saying? It's the mothers and the aunties and stuff following behind them on roads, on tours, and following behind their dreams, as opposed to getting that dream ready for us, doing what they do, letting us go on about our business, right? Because they still have their own structure and their own mind frame. They too weak though. All they know is what the child's been doing. But what's supposed to go on, they supposed to still procreate, still go on after, you know, that child has done made that state. Okay, he's an artist now, he's rich, boom, now it's on to the next one. Even if you don't have no kids, it's still kids out there. But the problem, people close up and they stop and they finish. That's it. I got my kids, I did what I did, that's it, it's over with.
It's no longer the village raising the kids anymore. It's just I did my part and I'm done, you know?
And then it's also a part of survival too. It's also a part of survival, living, eating, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, people just want a good life. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, you know, people go through their things, they go through their struggles, or if it's the kid that's doing it, like you said, the roles reverse, but it's about that good life. Because if a parent wanted to stay in control, they don't have to accept the stuff. They can keep that. But there is now, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, how am I trying to say it?
Good and the bad, taking the good and the bad.
Yeah, it's like, you got to pick and choose. Like, yo, either I want this you know, I want to get this money. I wanted this house. I want to look good and go fly all around the world, or I want to stay in control and control it the way I want it to be and teach a certain way. So now you got to see which way. And majority, to keep it real, who's really going to give up the house, the money, the cars, and all of that? So sometimes people sacrifice. And it's not saying just because your kid is taking care of you is a bad thing, but you might be sacrificing morals. You understand? And then things
morals,
might get something. Yeah, that's a sacrifice sometimes. So, you know, it happens.
I mean, I can understand that, but what happens is you still got to guide the kids. If you, just because the kid is, and not for nothing, your kids, if you got a kid, let's say, like Chynxx said, it's the bow wow, let's say, starting out like young like that. Mm-hmm. You still, the kid might be bringing in the money, but you still got to guide him so that he keeps his life straight. So you, like, in a sense, especially if it's a man in the house, that man should still allow, raise this kid to have some morals. Because if you let this kid run around thinking, hey, I'm the man, I'm doing everything, you can't tell me nothing, then this kid runs astray and he loses his way. Who do you blame?
Right.
Exactly. This is the reason why you have the little pumps and the young thugs. Is no you know, not to delve off into another, but there's no way that if this was happening and the parents were still around and still guiding and not letting them dictate things, you can't tell me that, you know, he would feel comfortable enough to walk around his mom's with nail polish on.
Right.
Is that, but this is what is no guidance, is no, it's, you know, so he's the boss, he's the breadwinner, and nobody really can say nothing about him. So this is what happens, even in the, you know, not the family, just the crowd of, you know, people with music. The cloud gets so big and just people just forget certain things and just disregard, like, hold on, like, we got to get back to the basics here. We're losing ourselves, and we're talking about people that, you know, like, I'm speaking on him and I really don't know him. I just know what I can say about him on the internet. And people glorify him as a person of the streets. That's a real street dude. Look how sad that is. You feel what I'm saying? The music is so invisible nowadays that, you know, these dudes can have purple blocks and still blow your brains off. You, like, you know what, you know where you come from and how you stand and what you're gonna tolerate, and, you know, what you're gonna let your kids see happen to you on the internet. That ain't gonna happen to me. So you know where you stand. But it doesn't matter, because this same little kid that you're like is not gonna violate me, it's gonna blow your brains out. And you looking like, yo, he got pink hair and purple glocks and tight, and got the dress on. Like, we remember the last rapper got the dress on him. So it's like, we losing ourselves. There's no guidance. No guidance whatsoever.
And just to go back to one of the things that you stated about, like, the older generation, the OGs or whatever in the game, how they're somewhat to blame, because everybody want to say, look at these kids, they're out of control now. But you're right, it was a lot of things that were being taught, even in the music. Because I ain't gonna lie, even at one point I had to check myself, because I was like, yo, they bugging, we never did that. And then when I started listening to some of the old shit that I used to rock out to, I'm like, we did talk about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and we want to talk about now, and this is no shot to them, because I love Wu-Tang and I love all of them, you know what I mean? But we talk about the kids now popping the perks and all the pills, but they were smoking woolly blunts back then. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? So, like, the drugs, all of that shit has been in here.
It just changed.
Right, it changed. So, like, you know, people and I'm gonna say my generation, we judge this next generation coming up, and it's really not right. So for me, I was thinking about what was going on with 6ix9ine and him beefing with, like, you know, everybody right now. And look, I'm not gonna get into that whole thing. You could touch on it if you want to, you don't have to, but I'm just saying, for me, when I really analyzed it, I said, if people really want to lead by example, they shouldn't be fighting with them. Because when you're older, your job is to teach and guide. And even if he is out of control, let's say that's the case, he's out of control. When you're older, you're not setting an example if you're fighting with someone that's younger than you. That's not a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, yo, for me, I'm like, nah, we got to do better than that. So yeah, sometimes you got to put a motherfucker in their place. Let's just be serious, right? But at the same time, when you're older and you should be leading, you are the one that's supposed to be setting an example and leading in a certain way. The minute that you come down and start arguing with a child, you know what I mean? Now you played yourself, you know? So
that is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. I super agree.
You don't agree? Why? Because you 50 Cent petty? I don't know.
No. It's some things. You see, the problem with it is you can't let these kids get away with everything. Sometimes they got to get checked.
I said that though.
You know.
Yeah.
And we'll use 6ix9ine for an example because he's the guy that came up, right? Mm-hmm. He's a troll. Everybody knows he's a professional troll. But sometimes he crossed the line. You ignore the regular troll shit. But if he crosses the line, he got to get checked, you know? And that's where you got to be like, all right, I can't fight with the kid because he's talking dumb shit. You know, I don't care about that. But sometimes he goes over where he shouldn't. You start talking about your mother and your kids and all of that. Then it's like, nah, you violating. You can talk about me. Leave my kids out of it, you know? And that's where he goes wrong.
Yeah.
And
that's number one to me. I don't play that. I don't care who you are, what you got going on. Kids is always supposed to be 0% part of the equation.
Right. I totally agree.
Always.
You can say whatever you want about me. Leave my kids out of it.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Like I don't tolerate that at all. I'm not going to touch on that subject on specifically him, but what like I cover it. I be wanting to like have a voice and opinion so much. Like that's why I can't wait till my platform get bigger, because like you said, people are being taught wrong. Mm-hmm. First of all, half of the people that have their opinions, they never been locked up. They never been locked up. Can you have an opinion? Yes, you can, but it's not validated. It's not validated. That's the problem. And what happens is they have platforms though. So if this person have, you know, 1 million plus platform or whatever, this person can sway 1 million people with one post, and that's dangerous. And what's happening is those are the individuals that's getting the platform, the vloggers and stuff that's speaking out, and that's actually shaping the culture. They're actually helping to shape the culture because people they forgetting the terminology of things. They're actually switching it up. You know, what snitching is, what a blicky is, and all this stuff. That everything is switching and changing because what we just talked about, the culture is switching and changing. Hip hop is changing, with the way people dress and the way people talk. Everything is, we understand that, but the problem is like I said, these people that have the platform is teaching people wrong. They even have, you know, street hardcore dudes that go hard, that supposedly went, you know, hard in the streets, and they will actually give a green light to individuals that's not citizens, that, you know, that's 9-to-5ers, workers, or whatever the case may be, and say, hey, it's okay. If something was to happen, y'all can snitch. It's okay. Y'all not considered a snitch because you're a civilian. And they don't specify. The problem I have with damn near every interview and stuff, they don't specify things. The checking in stuff, they don't specify things. When you say that, are you talking about like a person? Me personally, when it all boils down, like a person that's a 9-to-5er still have principles and morals. Just because you are a 9-to-5er doesn't mean you can rap. Doesn't mean it's okay to rap. So what I was saying by specify is if you have a homeboy and you are a worker, you work 9 to 5 and you do construction, and this boy sell dope, you can't say, hey, I'm a civilian, I'm a rat on him, and it's okay. But in the world, that's what is being taught. It's a major trend. I'm talking about from Gilly the Kid, Math Opera, I'm saying names. They are saying it's okay to be a regular civilian, and I'm going against that. No, that's not okay. That's not okay. It's not okay to tell on somebody that you have a bond with. If that person put you in a bad predicament, then that's something different. You feel what I'm saying? But you have a bond with this person. My whole thing is, if you know for a fact he said, the reason why I say he's wrong for doing that is because if you know for a fact your homeboy is selling dope, that's not your homeboy no more. If you're not willing to take up what can happen to you, knowing that giving him handshakes and coming around him can get you an indictment, you're not stupid. You could be a 9-to-5 all you want, but you ain't dumb. You know you can get in trouble by being associated with this dude. So for you to still want this friendship with him, you want you know what's coming with it. So to say that is like people don't specify, and these people be having platforms to sway people, and I'll be looking like, oh my God, and people like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, no, they're not right. That is not right. You cannot do that. That's not cool. There's no way, shape. But like I said, to sum it all up, no, the youth is not being checked in the right way, and I think the reason why they're not being, because the the older generation don't know how to. They don't know how to. And honestly, it's not because, you know, it's just because you're not that age no more. Let's be real and be honest here. You're not thinking like them no more. Okay. That's what people is really missing. It's simple. They trying to figure out why is the gap, how. It's simple. You don't think like the youngest no more. They on savage time, as opposed to us. We like, you know, you get into a shootout, you get into a fight or whatever. Kids off limits and stuff. They like, no, kids, everything. Savage mode. You see what I'm saying? Right, and nowadays, you got a chick running up on you talking about let's fuck shorty, and it's savage mode. You got Rihanna starting this stuff talking about, yo, I'm a savage, I'm this, I'm that, and you know, I fuck a man and just leave him, and that's what women is doing now. Everything is shifting and changing. Like, don't get me up here, so I start rambling. You know, I start going,
it makes sense, right?
Shit on my mind.
It makes sense though. You're right, because unfortunately nowadays, when with everything being so fluid, like the rap game, everything, these kids have a very short attention span. So it could be this today, and then tomorrow could be something totally different because their attention span is so short. So when you look at us, it's like, yo, how do we keep up with that? Because we don't even know where they're gonna be at tomorrow. You know?
And that's because of the consumption rate, because of the internet. They're able to consume music faster at a faster rate, as opposed to before. You gotta wait till the CDs come out and go online, and if you don't get them on, you see what I'm saying, shit like that. So the consumption rate, you know, forces them to be that way. You can't sit in one spot when you have an artist that's popping 2 million online, and then you got another artist that just shot 4 people in the mall, and then you got another artist that throw 50,000 in the shit. It's too much to watch, and it's crazy. Too many artists is coming out so fast because they can do it themselves now, and that's what I mean by consumption rate. Everything is that much faster via internet, so they forced to be that way. That's why I say, how can we think and be like them unless we that age and doing what they're doing? You feel what I'm saying? And my brother made me realize, like, you got, you know, these kids, like, how can they really be looking up to, you know, anybody that's just older by age? When, let's be honest, I'm only 34. I'm in the middle. So if my brother's telling me, like, yo, pay attention to what the average 13, 14, 15-year-old is doing now in middle America, in America, forget everywhere else. Mm-hmm. They're scamming and going crazy. You have 13, 14-year-olds that's playing with 100,000, and we have to build. When we first got, whether it was trapping, whether mute, whatever, we had to build, and we had to, you know somebody, or you had to be on the block. And now it's just at the quick, you know, scam. One card, one hidden piece, and it's over. You in a Lamborghini. We wasn't playing in that bill. So how can we expect for these kids to actually look up to us? They go and drop $50,000 on a Mary's, and it's a different lifestyle. In order for them to look up to us, we have to outdo them and keep on going. But what happened is, the ones that's older, the generation that's over me, they let up. They not that they forgot. It's just I think honestly, it's so much more of the new shit going on that they got deterred from. Their main goal was to keep on rapping, no matter what. It's a core fan base for everybody, for every single rap out there, especially for hip hop. Hip hop artists are the most hardcore artists ever. They stick around and they want that shit to keep on going. You see what I'm saying? They profess it. Oh, this new bullshit, I'm tired of it. They not scared. The fans for hip hop, they not scared. But guess what? The new fans, they don't actually go and be like, yo, this old music and this, I'm tired of this old. Why? Because there's no more of it. Think about it. Every rap they gave up, it's like they Nas don't drop music. Nobody's dropping music no more.
Some of the older generation got jerked. You know what I mean? Some of them, when you look at like some of the ones that paid the way, so I not saying that it's okay, but I could understand why some people would say, yo, I paid the way, I worked hard, and I walked away with nothing and got jerked by people, and here comes the other generation after me that don't even respect me and is
getting money. But they got jerked by the actual system. They didn't get jerked by the fans. They was in a system that was caught up that fucked them in publishing deals and stuff.
The frustration of some people walking away, because I mean, for some people, that's how they figure that this is how I'm gonna eat. So if I'm not eating and I'm doing this shit, and after a while, okay, the fame is good, the cars look nice, but I gotta give this shit back. This ain't really my house, and this shit is rented, and I'm not motherfucking eating. Now it's like, yo, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah, that lifestyle, you can't live up to that life. That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
That's when it.
But you gotta also understand, also with the younger fan base, they might have all the money right now, they get it now, but it don't last long because their fans get older too. You see, you got to remember, these kids doing what they're doing now, they're not going to be kids for forever. So that
forever, exactly.
The gimmick that they're selling is not going to last long. It's going to be here.
You think for 1 second, I'm not to cut you off. You think for 1 second a person is going to be 50 years old, jumping up and down like they doing this in the dances and stuff? You think they're going to?
Their knees won't hurt.
they're gonna need to come back and you know why I know? Because I'm coming of that age. I'm in the middle. I got the best of both worlds, and I know that. It's not gonna be a time when you just catch me doing that, just turning up all the time. Sometimes I want to listen to my songs, The Bay and Pound Game, and cool my ass down. Because I'm getting older. I got a son now. You know what I'm saying? So it only makes sense that y'all was supposed to keep on going hard, still drop music, and still please your fans. But it seemed like the older crowd generation just gave up to the point of like, it's literally no production from nobody. From a Jay-Z, from a nobody. You hear a song from a person once in a blue. But yet you'll go, Nas, you dumb fuck boy, and go and actually, excuse my language, and actually do, a song with somebody, that's brand new, and then say hip hop is dead. You the one that said hip hop is dead, and then go do a song with an artist that's brand new. Lil Nas X was a brand new artist.
Wow.
You didn't put not one artist on besides Davies.
Nah, yeah.
He put Davies on, and then King Shooter, rest in peace, wound up signing on later on, but he died. Nas, you've been in the game way too long for way more artists not to be recognized and put on.
Mm. You know what? To call Nas out, it's a lot of Puffy could fit under that. It's a lot of people who've ruined a lot of good artists. But they fall under that category to just
a lot
of people down, and then they moved on.
I just named him because he was blatantly disrespectful. He was blatant. And then he actually, Lil Nas X decided with the homosexual community. So, for him to be a first video coming back out, and co-signing somebody, it was like a slap in the face to all the artists, the music artists that's out there, that's doing their thing, that's putting on in New York and can't get no buzz. You feel what I'm saying? And for you to give somebody a green light from like that, that's not even from and you went as far as to do the video. That's what makes it bad. You in the video with this dude. So it's like a lot of them. It's a lot of them that's most definitely, and the sad part about it is we just said, we're talking about the internet era or whatever the case may be. When it all boils down, we have an internet to where we could go right then and there and do a regular post in our story, do a regular post or do a mention saying, yo, I just listened to Chynxx Brynxx fuck up the winner. You feel what I'm saying? And just that simple, you blew this artist up. We're not asking for you to do the back in the day shit where you gotta go and listen to this artist and do all the extra stuff. You can sit down on your ass in your mansion in West Volusia, motherfucker, and listen to an artist and do one post at the touch of a finger. And if you got 1 million followers, 1 million people see that post.
You know what? And I'm gonna tell you, and you're right about that. And we put that, that has to go on our generation, because our generation stopped supporting each other musically. A long time ago, New York especially got into really saying, "Oh, fuck it," they're not even trying to break out new artists. They'll play one guy over and over and over before they listen to somebody that they might even know. These days.
Which was going to bring my next question to you, because you brought that up. Now, how do you feel about the music industry, and for you as an artist, an independent artist? How do you feel? Do you think that New York give enough love and support? Or do you think that you got to go elsewhere to be able to pop off like that and to get recognized? Because I hear a lot of artists say you got to go outside of New York. What do you think?
Anybody that specifies and narrow that down, they just don't know no better. It goes in both favors. New York is too flavorful to place us and say this is what's going to happen for this artist. And when New York wants you to win, you're gonna win, plain and simple. If you the type of artist that's questionable, that's just what's gonna happen. You can name numerous artists that as soon as they know and see the talent, they blow up quick, fast, and we push them. But if it's something questionable, it is what it is. As far as going out to other places, anytime that you see a person, that made it because they went out and ventured, and now you see them, talking about they good fortune, fame and fortune and stuff because they ventured out or whatever, and now they got the success story. That's only because it's a reason why they had to venture out. Whether it was a bad one, whether it was a good one or whatever, for a good cause, he did it, or whether he's seen something or something happened or whatever. It's a lot of things that we can take into consideration. We never know. But you have to question anytime somebody has to go outside of their town to pop. You can't never blame the city. You can never blame the city. And one thing, I'm not going to put that on New York, right? That we're too flavorful. We love everybody. I argue that all the time, and I'm passionate because, if I was a voice back in the days, I most definitely would have been the one that let people from the West Coast know, like, at the end of the day, when people from the West Coast say how, we didn't support them and stuff like that, and it confuses me because as a child, I heard everything from the fucking West Coast, from the South and everything. Yeah. Right. I was more of let me tell y'all on this platform right now, I was more of a down South Hot Boys fan than anybody in the world. I walked around with 2 fake ass Geneva watches, bandana around you couldn't tell me I wasn't a hot boy. You hear me? Yeah. And this is the things we still get though. People saying that we didn't support them. It wasn't our fault. We had hip hop, started it, and we kept it. That's it. It was on y'all. They had this thing to them that we had to lend it out. No, you have to be strong enough to actually be able to do this. So now that y'all prove that y'all can take it and evolve it and do your own thing, it's cool. But we ain't gonna let y'all come. That's all it was.
We still support the South. We still support the West, but I don't think the support is reciprocated. I think when people hear
it's not. Let me tell you. Sorry to cut you off. This is one thing because I know for a fact. No, it's not. And the reason why I know is I can't really speak 100%. What I'm speaking on is a good maybe 60% facts because I was in jail. And the reason why I'm saying I was in jail, I've been in multiple different states. I've been around individuals. I've been in Oakland. I've been around individuals from San Francisco. No New York music is played everywhere in the United States. And let me tell you, places like Virginia, Northern Virginia, they play more up north stuff. You feel what I'm saying? The Nas and shit like that up north. Southern Virginia, they play more Boosie and shit like that. It's depending on where you at geographically. But when I'm saying overall, just like you could go anywhere in New York and hear any type of music to some nigga playing from the West Coast, from down South, Midwest. No, you cannot go to every state and hear a New Yorker being played. Maybe the stuff on the radio and the stuff that's popular, right? Of course, you can't do nothing about it. It's on your radio station. But we're talking about fully supporting it. No, that doesn't happen. They don't have radio stations like us. Their radio stations literally consist of their local artists. I've been in Arizona. Let me tell you, I could go on and on. Over 8 states.
Let me just say something to that really quickly. So that goes back to an old question that I asked about the New York. New York is doing all of that, but the other places are not doing it. So, well, it doesn't kind of go back to the old question, but it's almost like, so New York is giving. They showing love here. They showing love to all these places. Nobody's showing love to the New York artists. So the question is, when
we still branching out and leaving New York.
This be about New York artists, like Flex be like, I'm making New York sound like New York, right? So when is the DJs on these stations going to say, yo, we are going to make sure our New York artists get out there. We're going to support them like every other city supports their artists.
I don't think they'll ever do
That'll never happen because the reason why that'll never happen because how SoundScan and radio play is set up, they can't. It's a certain amount of a certain type of artist that can be played on a daily basis. That's paid for, and that's part of their network, and that's part of production, marketing, and all that to get these artists themselves. So it's just like you have artists like DJ K-Slay. The reason why you have artists like DJ K-Slay is because they wind up giving the leniency because they like, damn, we can't just oust them and not give them no radio station that's considered dark. DJ K-Slay considered dark. Funk Flex considered light. He can be played at 2 or 3 o'clock in the day while kids is walking around. DJ K-Slay, he cannot. And the reason being is because DJ K-Slay is a urban DJ that's putting on artists that's doing what they don't want. And this is what I know. If you have artists, more artists and DJs and promoters and CEOs of record labels that is like of the DJ K-Slay, it will be way more people put on. They don't want that. You feel what I'm saying? And like I was saying, how radio was set up, that's why you don't hear certain artists, because it's not part of it's already a list. Whatchamacallit, I think Ebro, I forgot, they already exposed that. It's a list. It's a list we play. That's why a lot of DJs that's like DJ K-Slay, they don't want to play in the daytime. I don't want to play by your list. This list is corny as trash as fuck. And then I got to play this one song, every so four times every hour, every so. They don't want to do that. So that's what's going on with that.
All right. Well, listen, let's talk about your music now. Let's get into, because one of my favorites is That's the Bay. You know what I mean? That's going to always be one of my favorites.
That's my son's favorite song. Every time I get in the car, that's my son's favorite song. Every time I get in the car, he makes his mom play that shit nonstop. When it stops, he said, again, mama.
So let's talk about your music. Let's talk about your albums, and let's talk about the singles that you have out right now.
Man, it's dope. I actually try to do a video of a little snippet, not a snippet, but a full version of my full choreography, the discography. I say choreography. I'm high. Discography. I did a video of my whole discography, and I tried, and it didn't work because it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm really proud because I look back at my, body of work, and I'm like, holy shit. I got Trap Confessions 1, as I'm doing the trilogy, Trap Confessions 2, and part 3, I'm doing myself because, as you know, I'm learning how to record myself. I learned how to record myself. Everything was done by my brother. I was scared to, delve off into that game. Got enough heart, so now I'm, it's taking a little time because I'm learning things. And as you go, something else is going to happen. You learn that, then something else is going to happen. Right, so I'm going through that. But Trap Confessions 3 is going to be dope because the fans going to love it more. They're going to know that I actually, did that whole project myself, made the beats, video, everything. So Trap Confessions 1, part 2, part 3 is coming. Before that, y'all know I had Designer, Sex and Drugs. The unofficial mixtape that I dropped, when I came out the Feds, $1 Million Dreams is a Federal Nightmare. That was my first, but it's unofficial because I never dropped it on no streaming sites. I just kept it on YouTube and things of that nature.
Is it on?
And then
not on SoundCloud, or it is? Is it on SoundCloud?
SoundCloud. Okay. SoundCloud only SoundCloud and YouTube.
And YouTube.
I kept all that music on SoundCloud and YouTube. Okay. And and then it was Designer, Sex and Drugs. I was thinking about doing a part 2 to that, but no. Part 3 is coming for Trap Confessions 3, and I got a slew. I just did a song called Warning Shot. This song called Warning Shot is crazy. It's actually a RIP tribute to Pop Smoke. I mimicked his the whole style, because like I said, he got that. When it comes to drill, even though he's dead, he's like the Tupac of that shit. Like, you will forever always hear his voice. On every drill beat I hear, I just hear his voice. His voice was so powerful and so remnant, and that's the type of artist I am. That's why those type of artists drive me. I'm more driven by the beat, the bass in your voice, the aggression that you give me. I know you serious. I know you're a man about your word. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I like Pac, my top artists, Pac, Jeezy. Those artists, you think about it, listen to their voice. Wasn't their voice amazing, immaculate? Without no beat, I can just listen to Jeezy. Yeah, I'm a soul survivor. His voice was just like, what the fuck is this? You see what I'm saying? Same reason why I like 50. I was a 50 fanatic. I'm more driven by that bass and that ambition, and like, this person is serious. That's why Pop Smoke, right?
But And I hear where you're coming from, but I told you before, your energy reminds me of Nelly.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember,
And
when I was watching the verses, remember I told you I was watching the verses. It was Nelly and who was Ludacris. It was Nelly and Luda, and they both was dope.
And Luda.
But yo, I never paid attention, and I slept on Nelly. And when I watched him, I said, yo, this kid is super dope. And like I could watch him all day. He has the energy, he has the talent, he has his everything, his whole package. And when I watched him, I thought of you. I thought of you.
It's funny you say that because I looked at that same one that you're talking about, and I never knew he was, because you really never seen Nelly like that.
Mm-hmm.
You never got to see him like that. You know what I'm saying? If he was even on a show or something, he was still professional, and he didn't, wasn't, just how to say this, letting his hair down. Right. So like to see that from me was dope. And the reason why it's more dope is, shut up, don't say nothing. I'm dead serious. This is not no lie.
Over the other side?
Yeah, my friend. It's Brynxx, the Brynxx girl, Holly Brynxx. I'm tripping because she know what I'm about to say. At the end of the day, this is no lie, no bullshit. When I was younger, that's all I got. I look like Nelly. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. Women would go fucking crazy and swear to God that I look just like this man. To the point of, shut up. I don't care. I started wearing the 2 headbands. I put 2 headbands on it.
I'm gonna play this shit out.
I am number one. What does it take to be number one? What does it take? Man, you got me fucked up. Yeah, most definitely. It's funny that you say that, but yeah, Nelly's a dope artist, man. But like I said, even he don't fall in that category of the older generation, but he do. You see what I'm saying? Because his music is of the past. You know what I'm saying? So you should feel like you part of the KRS ones and you part of it. It's dying. It's music that's dying out. You don't hear drop down and get your feeling on, girl. Drop down and get your ego on. You don't hear that no more. So you should feel like you part of that.
His music is also, when you hear it, it's something that you'll listen to over and over years to come.
Yes. Yes.
And this is what makes me mad. This is why that the DJs have control and that they don't want that, because they can keep it alive. They can keep that stuff alive. And they do keep certain songs alive. You know what I'm saying? The songs like In the Club. But those are the ones that's undeniable smash hits that's on billboards, and that's just undeniable. And it's a song that everybody can relate to. So like, how can you let that die, right? As a DJ, you'll be a fool not to play In the Club. It's your birthday. You know what I'm saying? Songs like that. Everybody has a birthday. You know what I'm saying? Songs like that never's gonna die, but it's songs literally like, drop down to get your eagle on, or whatever the case may be, that Nelly did, that you won't go to the club and hear nowadays. These youngsters start walking off the dance floor like, y'all playing drop that. Oh yeah, I'm out of here. And the reason why people don't understand, I understand it. And I understand that my brother told me last night, like, yo, I'm not a dancer, so I don't get that, bro. I don't give a, and I realized like, oh shit, I'm a dancer, so I understand. The reason being is trap music, drill music, you're able to do certain dances, Millie rocks and hit the woes, and these dances is made specifically to these beats. That's why they're driven in a certain way when they get on the dance floor. So when this actual, tail feather, these hard hits that was from back in the days come on, it's a whole different sound to the ear. But guess what? To us, it's not foreign, so we can keep our groove up because we know how to do them dances from back in the days. But if you're not that age and you never was in the club when In the Club was out, and you feel what I'm saying, you don't know how to do that dance. Right. So what happens is they stiffen up and they get embarrassed as a dancer, a person that dance. As you in the club and you put a song come on, like, a jumper song, and you don't know how to do jump, you like, what the fuck? And you freeze up. And that's what's happening. And that's what's happening. So the DJs catch that and they like, oh no, I can't make my dance floor clear out. Come back on. Here you go, a little baby. And look, yeah, that's what happens.
I can't take it. Oh my God. What was I about to ask? You said you got Trap Confessions 3 coming out. When can people expect that? Is there a time frame? Do you got a date yet?
I can't, because I put a time limit on it because I thought I was going to record it via my brother. and I put a time limit, which was supposed to actually drop this a month on the first of the month. You know, it's a dope album, so you got to drop it on the first. But I was supposed to drop it on the first of this month, and I never got to drop it because I feel like I want to do the whole thing myself. So, and you know, it's the last of the trilogy, so I'm gonna give the fans my all and give them my full vision and project. So I'm not gonna put a time limit on it.
Okay.
I've been posting about that and letting them know.
But in the meantime, until that is out, there's still a lot of music that you have out.
A slew.
And where
besides
can
the
people
music
get
that I got out, I got a slew of music that I'm about to drop. On top of, remember, I got a bunch of singles that I dropped that I really didn't promote, and I'm gonna do the visual for them. Songs like Pound Game and things of that nature. The Bay, I didn't do a visual to those songs, so I can bring those songs back and, you know, get some more traction for those songs and stuff via the visual. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start bringing back, you know, some projects or whatever the case may be, in the midst of dropping single after single.
So, okay, so that's what I want people to know. So while they're waiting on the Trap Confessions 3, there's still albums and singles that people can go get, that they can go buy and they can go download. You have it on all major platforms, right?
Everywhere.
All your songs are on all major platforms. Spotify. Is there any specific place where you prefer people to go, or it doesn't matter? Like if you want somebody to play the music.
Always Spotify. I'm a Spotify supporter. They pay me the most. They support me. It's always Spotify. Okay,
so that means download and definitely the Bay, because that's my favorite song. No, when you play, but that, you know, look, those songs, those type of songs, again, I think are timeless songs that's going to be around forever. It's going to always rock. So it'll never ever get old. You know what I mean?
Always going to have a Bay.
Right. Yo, it's always
exactly. Good looking, bro.
You know for sure.
And the thing about one thing I learned too, that all artists should take from this is, no matter how old that song is to you or the crowd that you actually have, the friends and the active people that you have on your Facebook, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
People didn't hear that shit. I don't care if you got 50,000, 100,000 people. People don't understand numbers sometimes. If you reached 200,000 people, you didn't touch 1% of the world.
Wow.
And I just put it at a bare minimum. I know for a fact it's way more than that. You can touch, like, I think 2 million or something like that, and still didn't touch 1% of the world. So you keeping this music to yourself because you felt that you over promoting it, or no, that's not true. People didn't get to see you.
People on your Facebook that still haven't heard it. You know, there's probably people that follow you that still haven't heard it. You know.
I mean, well, we all know that's a fact because the way Facebook works, you know, the algorithm, you know, they send it to certain people and they let, you know, the people that's really active, that really like your shit, they send it to those people first. And if those people like it, then they start sending it out. That's how your shit get popular. Same thing on Instagram. You feel what I'm saying? That's why people don't know. People be thinking that, you know, the people that get 400 or 500 likes is popular all the time. No, that's not the case. People on Instagram, when you see them on the explore page and sometimes you see 400 or 500 likes or whatever, that person usually get, you know, 200-300 likes. What's happening is his 200-300 likes is so active and fast. They happen so fast that it tells Instagram, it tells the algorithm, like, hold the fuck up. This person is liked and wanted. And they send it out. That's how they end up on the explore page with 200-300 more likes on their shit. So when you look at the 400 or 500, you're like, oh shit, this person is pop. When all actuality is just the traction that his original core fans gave him to get him out there faster.
Right. And that's what people look at. They look at the numbers, they look at stuff like that. What lane would you say you fall in? Do you say you fall in like the trap lane, or you're all across the board? Where do you see yourself as far as in the industry?
I mean, to my body of music, it's obvious I'm a trap artist, but that's only because, you know, like I was telling bro, at the end of the day, I'm, you know, when coming home and coming to the realization how people consume music and what they feel about, you know, amplified and made up lyrics and exaggerated lyrics. I started delving off into my real life. So, but the problem is I'm really not, I cannot, I'm gonna tell you a secret right now. This is very big, very, very big. No bragging or nothing. There's probably not too many artists in this world that on Spotify, YouTube, and iTunes They cannot relate me to no artist. You know that?
They can't relate you to no artist?
Under my this, and that's another thing. This gets you more popular. I'm gonna tell you the reason why after. They don't have nobody for me to be compared to but my brother, and the only reason why they come because they know me and him have music together. You see what I'm saying? That's the only comparison me and him have, because me and him don't rap the same. So right, so it's obvious that the only reason why y'all comparing me and my brother is that we got music together, right? So why is it that y'all can't compare me to no artist in this world? Why not one artist from around? And what they do is, it doesn't matter if it's in New Zealand. It doesn't matter. They'll still put that person as related to you, because if they have the same type of people, the same type of music, or whatever the case may be, they're going to put you related. Or what happens is, if people like a certain amount of people, a certain, people in the area, and you part of that, then, you fall in. But I don't fall into none of those, because the reason why I think is because every single song that I have, this is no lie. I'm not, you can go and actually check the body of work. Like when y'all got time and y'all just chilling, I made sure that on every single verse from the first, second, and third that I rap different. It's not too many no artists that do that. They have a set flow on the song, and sometimes in between they'll switch it up. Me, on every single song, if it's 1, 2, 3 verses, I switch the flow on every one. Not only that, I have music that's soft music that's hard. You feel what I'm saying? Music that's emotional. How are you going to be able to relate me to somebody if I don't stay in one lane?
Right. Okay. All right. So
So
that's
when
people versatile on it. Yes.
Yeah. So when people be like, yo, I'm different. I'll be looking at it like, how is you so different if they able to relate you to other artists? But you realize the trend is that it's a different. When they say different, that's for the industry, because you can't be different if you're wearing the same chains that the next man wear, whether it's Gucci, whether yours is bigger, whether you got diamonds in it, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Patek Philippe's, Patek watches, it's all the same name brand, the same Gucci. How can you be so different if you're doing and wearing and saying and doing all the same shit that the next artist is doing? Make sense of that. And you're related to artists. So it only makes sense to me that me being an artist, that I came in the game literally from my first video. Y'all know, my first video, none of that crazy trolling shit. I could have did that from my first video. None of that, create all these choppers, girls twerking, throwing money. I want y'all to see the visual of me. That's going to throw y'all off. And I knew that. And I came in the game and did something that was different. People don't appreciate that. That's what's different. That's something that y'all should appreciate, not the trend. Because how is y'all saying, oh, this motherfucker popular, he's popping, he's doing this thing, if he's doing the same thing everybody else is doing, right? So for me, I feel like I feel better, because at the end of the day, like, for me to start and do this, like, and not do the same thing that everybody else and get the clout and the wave that I got, I feel super. I feel that I'm a never die. My fans I'm able to stay afloat with the core fans that I didn't reach states and stuff yet. I sat on my ass from New York and reached out to Australia. Haven't been there yet. Fans in Australia, different countries, different states. Brynxx team. I just feel super strong, man. Super strong. Y'all got a lot of stuff coming from me, down from visuals and everything. I was supposed to actually do a documentary for my homeboy called Bully. Y'all be prepared for that, because I'm gonna still get it done. Called Bully. It's about bully pit bulls.
Bully? Okay.
Yep. About bully pit bulls. So I shoot my own videos and everything, from beats, everything. I'm gonna start my own beat channel. I'm gonna start selling beats.
Oh, that's
everything.
Good. So you basically gonna be doing everything yourself, pretty much. That's what's up.
Until it times calls for for the help to come, I'm gonna thug it out. Indie grind time is my baby, and that's going to keep on growing. Little by little, indie grind time is going to keep on growing. That's the same, of the DJC Radio Global, the same of the Come Up podcast is for the people. It's for the people. I don't give a fuck what people say. One thing for certain, nobody can say that I never supported from day one. I didn't get in that shit and start doing scene that in my music. None of that. From day one, everybody knew. But it was called Mal High Magazine. That's what some people don't know. It was called Mile High Magazine. I named it Mile High Magazine. That's when I wanted to do my subscription when I came home, my magazine thing. But I changed it to Indie Grind Time. I seen a different vision for artists because honestly, I think that between me, you, I always mess her name up. Hope she's not watching me right now and kill me or see the replay. Theolonica, thank you for saying that.
I'm gonna just call it Theo for short.
Theo, right? I think between that's the start. That's the start. And what my vision, not to give everything on screen, but is a power shift. We need a power shift. For for the artists that's going through, let me touch up on that. To get paid less than a penny, there's no value on the market system anywhere that you can show me that or something that costs less than a penny. For them to be able to give our artists 0.00000.23 cents, some stupid shit like that, it makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. And whether my music go up or go down, one thing my vision is always going to stay on is you don't have to be an artist to get in the music industry. Once I really learned that, it's over. I don't care what my music do. I'm going to get in that game and get a power shift, plain and simple. And the way you get a power shift, I honestly believe, is numbers and people that have ties to that game. Whether it be marketing, my mind was a little polluted. I always thought in the mind frame of artists. You got to build. No. It doesn't matter what, as long as that person hold the camera. If that person knows how to, it doesn't matter what, you have to build a certain team around you that's going to make that power shift happen.
That's what it's about. It's about building a real strong team. I think that's the main thing, because once you got a good team, it's no stopping you. Now, what advice, before we end it, I want you to give all your social medias and how people could get in touch with you. But before you do that, what advice would you give as an independent artist to other independent artists that might be listening? What would be something that you say to them that can help them?
Always stay indie. Always.
On your own shit, right?
The only way you ever sign a deal, mind you, I already had a contract, Diamond Cut Records. The only way you ever consider signing a deal is if that person that's coming to you is willing to negotiate. Anytime they come at you with a record deal and telling you this is what it stipulates, no go. You want to always have a record deal to where you can say, yo, just like Jeezy, for example, to so people that don't know how it goes. Jeezy had a 1 year, one album deal with Def Jam with Puff. He got it with Puff. They gave him through it via Def Jam and Universal, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. But he wound up getting, but he himself knew what Puff was on, right? And him being a street nigga, you're not gonna play with me, Puff. 1 year, one album, I'm out of here. I have a chance to opt out, you feel what I'm saying? And that's what he did, and he's super prospered. You see where Jeezy at now.
Okay.
Always have it in your playing fields and know what the fine print is. People don't know what fine print. I almost got fucked around for 7 years, 7 albums. If people don't know what that means, yes, I would have been stuck for 7 years, whether my album went flop or whether it went big or whatever, and they burnt me up for royalties or whatever. I would have been fucked around in a bad deal, but my brother wound up catching that. And shout outs to Diamond Cut Records.
Hold on now.
They ain't nowhere around. Okay. Diamond Cut Records ain't nowhere around.
Oh,
that's for doing that fuckboy shit. Excuse my language.
Listen.
But shout outs to everybody. You could get my social media via Chynxx Brynxx. Everywhere is the same thing. Chynxx Brynxx, CHYNXX BRYNXX, like the Brynxx truck.
All right, so that's social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, everywhere. And your music is on all streaming platforms, but you would prefer everybody to first go to Spotify to download your music, and it's spelled the same way on those streaming platforms as well, correct?
That's a fact.
All right. Well, listen.
And that's another thing. The last thing that artists should always know is you most definitely have to brand yourself. Having your names changed around different social medias is never good. As an artist, is never good at all. Always brand yourself with the same name throughout every single social media.
Gotcha. That's what's up. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for the knowledge. Thanks for the info. Everybody, make sure you guys go check him out. Go check his social medias. Go download his music. He got a lot of dope music. And make sure that y'all stay tuned for the Trap Confessions 3. We waiting on that. So definitely. Thanks again for your time. And we will be in touch. It was good talking to you. All right?
Peace, bro.
All
Likewise,
right.
bro.
Later.
Shit is lit. You already know the vibes. Gang. I ain't flexing with nobody but the bay. Okay, that's the bay. That's the bay. I ain't flexing with your chicks, I'm only flexing with the bay. Okay, that's the bay. Oh yeah, that's the bay. I ain't flexing with your chicks, I'm only flexing with the bay.
Say my chick a ballin' too, plus she nothing like the others. Plus anything she wanna have, I bet she got it covered. My chick the main attraction, man, I don't mean to brag. You could catch a bowling high in the first round draft. Say the winter time over, so I'm backing out the new fresh. New style, new money, new flex. Green label, purple tag, you guess. Brynxx gang clothing, I don't care about you dress. I'm a Beverly, yeah, I got the recipe. Cook it up music group, yeah, that be ecstasy. That's all kind of flavors, rolling in a pronto paper. Ain't no time for haters, no, I'm on the grind for paper. I'm with my bay tonight, watch how we slay tonight. All bets on like I'm rolling with my favorite dice. I just say the price and watch she get a swipe on. Nice charm, sapphire flooding out my right arm. Blowing out a check, my bae got baguettes. I'm dealing with a bowler in the league, she a vet. Say my chick a bowling too, plus she nothing like the others. Plus anything she wanna have, I bet she got it covered. My chick the main attraction, man, I don't mean to brag. You could catch a bowling high in the first round draft.
Okay, that's the bay. That's the bay. I ain't flexing with your chicks, I'm only flexing with the bay. Okay, that's the bay. Oh yeah, that's the bay. I ain't flexing with your chicks, I'm only flexing with the bay.
Say my chick a ballin' too, but she know Cheryl Swoops. Green bag, a clean jag, I call it a Zero Coupe. Got that Monte baby, yeah. Pasha de Cartier, running it through the summer, and she do it every year.
Every
first round draft, scoring on the slash. No free agent, got my player jersey smashed. Going on the spree, they shooting like Nash. They could take a shot, but the baby won't pass. No matter what I do, she never get her loving up. No, and she a rider, so I only drill with her. If you chillin' with your babe, raise your hand, raise your hand. If you chillin' with your babe, do your dance, do your dance. If you chillin' with your babe, raise your hand, raise your hand. If you chillin' with your babe, do your dance, do your dance.
Okay, that's the bay. That's the bay. I ain't flexing with your chicks, I'm only flexing with the bay. Okay, that's the bay. Oh yeah, that's the bay. I ain't flexing with your chicks, I'm only flexing with the bay.
Say my chick a bowling too, plus she nothing like the others. Plus anything she wanna have, I bet she got it covered. My chick the main attraction, man, I don't mean to brag. You could catch a bowling high in the first round draft.